Well, we're coasting home now. We're closer to the end of the program today. We'll be having the panel sessions now, and I will be calling on Professor Akintola to come take charge of the panel sessions. Please put your hands together for Professor Akintola. He was one of the first people to get here today. I can imagine, depending on where he was coming from, probably woke up as early as 5 a.m. That's what Lagos puts you through. Thank you very much, sir.
I would like to stand on the existing protocol, but that's as it may. I will have to still mention the traditionalists, the traditional institutions here. Well, KBC, to the right, KBCU. And of course, I'm an academia, so, and then when Professor Chinodu, somebody I've heard his name, you can't be somebody in LASU and you not hear of Professor Chinodu. Thank you, sir, for speaking from the heart and then hitting everybody. And that is the way to go. If we all of us come here and don't look at ourselves and tell ourselves the truth, we go home doing nothing. Thank you, sir. And every other one present, you are welcome. This task cannot be done alone. I'm trying to save time because, of course, we started behind schedule. I will be doing this, moderating this session by inviting those who will make presentation, of course, lead the discourse, and then those who also will be joining, and then we'll also have question and answers, and then at least my job will be done thereafter. My name, I am Akintola Shehu Latunji, a professor of fisheries at the Lagos State University. The first person to be invited is Professor Henry Ujo, a brother and a friend from Lagos State University. He will make his presentation, and thereafter we'll get the panels to do it. But maybe let me invite the co-panelists because of time, so that we can take, and then everyone will go home. Barrister Funmi Folorunsho, LCC Head Maritime Forum. I saw her joining the Fanti Festival, so I'm sure we are going to enjoy her contribution. So please come to the high table here. Then we have Engineer Kelvin G. Harbour. I hope I got the names right. Engineer Kelvin G. Harbour. Okay, please give him a round of applause. Comrade G. Wickles, CEO Abadi Turu Manga Community Development Initiative, all the way from Bayelsa State. Yes. Okay, so we'll have Professor Erin Ujo to speak about community engagement and inclusivity in Blue Economy initiatives. But before then, let me just make this preamble. A gift from God, apart from the fish, apart from all other natural capitals that we have, is ourselves. And where does that lie? It lies in the community. The KBC here, I salute your courage. When you spoke, I felt elated. And when I see people at that class who decided to come back home and take up what we have forgotten, I feel elated. May God prolong your lives. What we have lost is, or we are losing because there's hope, we still have hope. Once you leave, you lose the gift of community. You are dead. Because community has so many things for all of us. That is the only place that preserves your being. When we lose that gift, we have lost everything. And this is why this gathering is very important, to remind us where we are coming from. Often we are always in a pursuit of where we are going, forgetting that most times, if you remember where we are coming from, it is easier to get to where we are going. But we also almost always want to forget it. I don't want to bore us with another lecture of his own. So I'm sure Professor Henry Ujo will do justice to that gift, the gift of community, in his presentation entitled Community Engagement and Inclusivity in the Blue Economy Initiatives. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Chairman of the panel. Like you did, I would like to pay homage to the royalty, Kábíyèsí Mojúbà. And I would like to especially express my happiness for being here to speak on the same podium with a great professor of mine, Professor Adeleji Nodu. Prof, I doff my cap. Thank you very much, sir. I remember in one of our discussions on AM Maroc from Rabat in 2011, you told me that just keep reading and doing your best. And seeing you today, I feel motivated because what you have done today is setting the platform for my discussion. As if you stole my presentation when you said something about Ilubiri. I'd asked that question before. What has the government done to the people when they decided to sandfill Ilubiri, the waterfront? You know, pushing the water far away. And the same thing has happened to Eco Atlantics. Well, the same thing is happening in Badagry too. At Badagry Marina, you know, the water is being pushed inward and structures are coming up, you know, on the marina shore. The problem here is not about the government desiring to work on waterways, water lines, or coastlines, and so on and so forth. The problem is about community engagement and including the owners, the indigenous owners of these water and coastlines in taking initiatives to turn these places into tourist attractions, commercial centers, and so on. What I would say quickly is that when the challenge was put at me to work on this project, the first thing I did was to go to the field. Let me not sit on the desk of my table to conjecture what is happening to the people. So I realized that interacting with the people in Badagry especially, I realized that government sits at tabletop without considering the feelings of these people before coming up with projects. What then happens is they set the people into a vulnerable state. They get scared, fear of losing their ancestral homes, fear of losing their ancestral land, fear of losing a connection with their ancestors, then the fear of losing especially cemeteries where their ancestors have been buried. And when we talk about indigenous worship, traditional worship in this part of the world, ancestral worship is at the core of traditional worship. Then there are shrines, ancestral shrines that have been in existence long before the coming of anything colonial or post-colonial law, and so on. Then incidentally, what happens to the people when they hear about displacement? They become scared of how to connect with the spirits of the ancestors. And when solutions are proffered, such as, well, we will help you relocate your shrines to a new place, as much as that provides some hope, we also find out that the government is not quick in doing this. And that creates a momentary disconnection between moving from the known ancestral home to the target home, which is the unknown one, which is not likely to happen so soon. That has been found to have happened in Badagry as we speak, in connection with the promise of the deep sea port. When I heard about the deep sea port today, I heard about Lekki and so on, and I remember that since 2016, if not earlier than that, but I can specifically say that since 2016 up until this moment, the people of Badagry have been looking forward to the construction of the deep sea port. Because they've been looking forward to that, the youth in Badagry in 2015 organized themselves into study groups, mobilizing young people to take courses in maritime and blue economy activities and so on. I can remember participating in one of such workshops where I specifically told young people to take on vocational courses in argon welding, where it will be easier for them to work with engineering industries that can lay pipes, in the water, that can work on drills, that can work on oil wells and so on. Those who can work on the shipping lines, those who can work with the ships and so on. Many of them have gone to schools to do that, and then coming back, they have no place that is called Badagry Deep Sea Port. What I'm saying now is still happening now. We are now hearing Deep Sea Port Ondo shall be developed. What has happened to Badagry Deep Sea Port? That led me into studying historically exactly what has happened in the past with ports like Apapa Port, Tinkan Island Port, and so on. And history has shown us that, well, while a little community engagement activities were done at that time, they did not consider the kind of expansion that Lagos has today. And therefore, we still have congestion. If we had had Badagry's deep sea port, there would have been some relaxation on that. Now, if we move away from what Lekki is doing, we are happy about Lekki's development. The experience of Apapa helped the Lekki deep sea port in terms of community engagement, but it is still not yet enough. Even with the coming of Dangote refinery and so on, recently there was an agitation that Dangote has not been employing indigenes of Lagos to participate in activities in there. And Ibile Eco Foundation, a group I also belong to, actually did something in that direction, and we've seen some positive signs coming in. Now, when we talk about community engagement, the United Nations, in a publication of 2020, established a model. It is not just about going to a community, we are bringing something to you here. We will build, there will be job, there will be this, there will be that. It has to do with direct participation in discussions with local populations, especially in decision making, to strengthen ownership and accountability of whatever thing is coming to the coastline, to the communities. And in such dialogue, it's expected that there should be trust. Establishing trust is not just an easy thing. It's not just a matter of saying that I will do this for you. There must be tokens that community people shall hold as evidence of that trust. And there must also be futuristic signs that this trust building will be something formidable, that is transparent, and policymakers must not take these things with levity. In that paper that has generated this argument, I argue that inclusivity is both a moral and practical necessity in the design and execution of blue economy projects. This is coming out of the connection with what the United Nations has suggested. The United Nations blueprint is coming up on the platform of peace building. You know, United Nations has been involved in establishing peace during war. And that has led to the establishment of certain protocols when it comes to including communities into peace building. For establishing inclusivity, people working on coastal lines and so on should take a look at the model of United Nations also, and ensure that it is not just about saying that women should participate. What type of women? What capacities have we put into these women to move into that economy and come out with what output? Boys must also be involved. What is the design for developing these boys to become technical partners in the development of not just the commercial people, but of the community? All of these activities and discussions are the concerns also of the Sustainable Development Goals 14 and 11. Sustainable Development Goal 14 emphasizes life below water. Now, life below water is the reason people go to fish, is that not so? But people don't eat in the water, do they? They have to come to the communities. And that is why Sustainable Development Goal 11 is talking about taking care of local communities, making sure that communities are also taken care of, so that whatever we take care of under the water will come out of the water to the communities to benefit people living in this habitat. So this discussion has been on for a very long time. In pre-independence time, Enyingbeti has been there. Olukoju, 1992, tells us about the events around the Apapa port when Marina became congested. We also the present activities. There have been so many failures on the part of government to really implement inclusive policies for coastal communities. The problem is always at the implementation level. To formulate policy is not a difficult thing. We sit, brainstorm, formulate. Now let's go to the field and work. And what has been the barrier for implementation? When you speak with people in these communities like I did, they talk about uncertainty. When residents speak about uncertainty, government is bringing this, and government is not bringing. They wait the first year, the second year, the third year, they naturally conclude that it's not certain for government to do this. That's one thing. Another thing we have found in communities is that, well, there is a little bit of a livelihood erosion. Before you promise them trolleys to fish, they've been fishing. The local people are happy living in their communities without any trouble. But now you promise them technology, we will bring technology, we will bring this, we will displace you people and take you elsewhere. You no longer have to fish on this water, we will do the fishing for you. First year, second year, third year, they've been away, afraid of being arrested and so on, but you didn't give another alternative. These are the problems. So it creates livelihood erosion to the people. So small-scale fishers and indigenous population fear dispossession. They fear displacement. They fear ocean grabbing. And this threatens their culture and economic existence. Another thing we have found is that there is fears of compensation. You talk about displacement, I mentioned that earlier. But the relocation plans are usually not reflecting the historical patterns of the neglected people. Everybody has a history, and this history connects them with their land and their culture and sociocultural practices. Why is it then that government decides to do this, to do that, and expectedly they don't? So people become afraid of interacting with government people. How do we solve some of these problems? We need to balance hope and risk. We need to work on business potentials and some ecological risks that exist in displacing local people. That is where we have recommended that government should build trust in the people. That is very important. There should be the integration of SDGs, especially 14 and 11. Then there should be inclusive education. You see, this will have to do with working on our current national curriculums to impute in these curriculums issues that have to do with the promotion of inclusive education in the blue economy, and then we teach people about all of these things. Now, legislation and policy harmonization must also exist. Then the current maritime laws must undergo reviews to reveal current issues that affect communities and blue economy activities generally. Research and development funding must also be promoted with the intention to ensure that blue economy, as far as community engagement is concerned and inclusivity is also concerned, research must be directed at those areas where researchers don't just go check problems alone. They deliberately look for systems that can naturally evolve solutions that can stand the test of time. So, those are the recommendations that I have come up with, and I hope this discussion will spark more reactions here while I take my seat. I thank you for listening, and we continue the struggle together in this line. We shall survive and succeed. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for a great intervention. Now we'll try to see how far you can go. So it will be, I pose some questions, and then the panelists will try to provide their viewpoints. We'll do these maybe 3-minute marks for each intervention because of time. First is, from his presentation, he has what it seems is clear, that government often promises, but they fail to. So what's available, whether maybe legal or international instruments, that can make communities ensure that government do whatever they promise? What are the kind of instruments that can be used to make sure that government, when they promise, they must deliver? From any of us can, okay? Somebody has to be here to move the mic across. Okay, there's one there. Okay.
There's one here. I don't know if this mic really amplifies. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for that question. I think I am from the civil society space. Based on the question you asked, I think the civil society has a role to play to that effect. Although we know we have the, what is it called, the institutional framework where the likes of NIWA comes in, and other maritime agencies or authorities, as well as local government, as the case may be, to make this thing happen. But the role of civil society, yeah, that is where I come. I'm from Bayelsa State, and why am I here? I'm from a coastal community. In fact, from Bayelsa State. Bayelsa State has the longest coastal line, as the case may be. And I remember in 2019, we had the Global Maritime Security Conference. And in that Global Maritime Security Conference, panel session 10 talked about the roles of civil society in maritime security partnership. And in that engagement in 2019, when our security operators were talking about the effect of sea piracy as regards the GOG, the Gulf of Guinea, they hammered the point that the Gulf of Guinea crisis, maritime security crisis, or insecurity as the case may be, is a Nigerian problem traceable to the Niger Delta. And there I raised emotion. I said, okay, can we look at the causes of sea piracy? And I had to bring in as a result, the non-kinetic approach to mitigate sea piracy, not just the kinetic approach, because the kinetic approach can only touch the surface, but the non-kinetic will touch the depth of it. That is why we are here, community inclusion and engagement as the case may be. And after the event, I had to use 5 years to pursue for implementation. If you go online, you check Abadi Toro, you see me and Nimasa, because the former DG, he took the initiative, went to Zaria, something that is meant for a coastal terrain, to mitigate sea piracy. He went to Zaria to build a maritime skill acquisition center. Okay, when I saw it, and that was where, the question you're asking is where I'm going now. That was where I picked up the pen, instead of taking the gun. In fact, we are all known for that. So I picked up the pen, and at the end of the day, I had to petition the agency at the National Assembly. And at the end of the day, we were called to sit down through ADR. And today as I speak, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today as I speak to you, the 2025 budget, which will come out, I think, for 2026, they will be going to Bayelsa State to build a maritime skill acquisition center. So the thing is this, there are youths here. You hear of Ehingbeti, the renaissance of Ehingbeti in community engagement and inclusion. What is Ehingbeti? As the theme implies, from a global spectrum or perspective, I would say Ehingbeti actually was defined by the Global Maritime, International Maritime Organization, World Maritime Day team. Our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. That is what this Ehingbeti community engagement and inclusion is all about. And our prof here talked something. Sorry a minute. Our prof talked about the UN community engagement model. The UN community engagement model is built on 3 pillars, as he defined. 1, local capacity. 2, the other one is local community structures. And the third one is local ownership. You see these 3 pillars, they resonate directly with the theme of the IMO for this year. But there will be no time for we to start to explain that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your introduction. Okay, I think Madam Bumi, Barrister Bumi, okay, this is good from legal point, I guess, or still from civil strife. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I will not be talking from civil society. I will take from Professor Jinodu's, and I would limit it to Ehingbeti in Lagos State. He made a profound statement, and I wondered what that meant. Bringing back to front. Strange. But when he finished, we're going to then talk quickly about community engagement. There is a vacuum here. Let's take Lagos State. Betty, blue economy, blah, blah, blah. You understand it from the academia. He understands it from civil society. He has spoken brilliantly about academia. But the fisherman does not understand what this is all about. Each country in Africa is taking blue economy as it concerns itself. Fishery, this is our own. He doesn't take under the water, the blah, blah. He doesn't take all of that. Other countries are taking blue economy. It has broad spectrum. What we're asking for, what I'm asking us to look at, can we take Ehingbeti, Lagos, and talk about what is relevant? Food sustenance. We've talked about the mess within Lagos. Sir, if you go to Aroloya area, it's a disaster. And I am saying to myself, if I were to look at it, blue economy, Ehingbeti, you're talking about the community. They're living a depraved life. But if I was to, I'm saying to myself, it's going to pour into our seas. The fish, just, that place where the Oba lives, they're going to pour sewage into that place. Nobody's looking. You're looking at the roads. You're looking at us as St. John's Church, Aroloya. So the sewage, the filth is going into that place. 1 more minute. There is need to take all of these academic things and call a town hall meeting. Let's look at all of this. There are potentials, no doubt. The gentleman here has a document that he will submit later. Prof, I'm pleased to meet you. You gave me courage. 83 and you're at it. We haven't reached 70 and we're starting to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Thank you for the encouragement. But for whoever is here to listen, Lagos State must have a community, a town hall meeting. Those of us who live here, those of us who were brought up here, whatever, to sit down and look at what does the blue economy, if it is fish production, let's look at it. If it is whatever else it is, let us look at it. But to take blue economy and she's taking students. Can we take Lagos State students and prepare them, not for the disappointments they're going to meet later, but they are exportable materials. If Lagos isn't functioning very well, those same people you have trained are exportable for other states and for outside Nigeria. But my first call will be a town hall meeting to take this annual thing from halls, interpret it. What does this mean to you? And all of that. Thank you.
Yes, the call is there. So I think we need to take it beyond just this sitting and call on Madam Williams that the Ocean Ambassador Foundation must call a town's meeting where issues surrounding sustainability of betting can be discussed and actions taken. But we have a protection under the FAO Small Scale Fisheries Guidelines, where all the rights of indigenous people to their land, to their resources, to their community are there, and how they can also enforce it. I would like to be part of this. We can do it, and then we should do it together. We can, it is a global document. Once we see it, we will force the House of Assembly to take it as our document for which we want to govern ourselves. So I think that's the call. Ma'am. Are we on to it? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we then, because of, okay. Professor Joe.
I believe in a process of reconditioning what we really have. If we've been doing this, we've been calling towns meeting, we've been calling policymakers, we do workshops and so on. And if after a decade we do not see a significant change in our expectations, then there is a call for us to question the method we've been using. What is the conditioning that powers constant, a constant way of doing a thing? It may just be that we need to change our method. So there is a need now for us to redesign the future of the blue economy. In line with all the identified problems that we have seen, we can quickly document the conditioning process. You see, whenever we talk about government policy makers and so on, one thing comes to my mind. From where do they get the ideas by which they formulate policies? They are handed down certain documents. If you go into the civil service today, there are reports of various committee meetings done over and over again. People leave the university ready to go fight. We have good ideas. They get to the civil service, they are told, first, study the conditions of service. Second, study the policies of this. This is the way we write our memos here. In fact, this language is not appropriate. So there is an oral tradition, a way of handing down colonial ways of doing things that do not take into consideration the local fishermen you've spoken about. So we need to just start deconditioning the conditioned people and start creating a new set of citizens that will live beyond us. That is why the question of curriculum design, our comprehension passages in school should talk about our local realities, indigenous knowledge system, the advantages in holding on to our traditional systems and then borrowing modern ideas to renew these things into becoming something that can confuse the colonial system that keeps us perpetually the way we are.
So but we have to also we'll move with time. Apologies. I know we have so many things burning in our mind to say, but we are, because of time. All of what is said, I hope the repertoire are doing their work, ma'am. What is obvious is Ocean Ambassador Foundation is being given a bigger task. And I'm sure the likes of Professor Ginodo and the rest of us, we stand behind you to say, let's do it together. We need an agency. And luckily, the Ocean Ambassador Foundation becomes an agency for us to use as a platform to do all of those things, change our history. I mean, we'll get involved to the extent that we have to tell the real history. Let the people, the community, everything is back to the community. I think that is all. Okay, so please, we still have many questions here, and I still want all of your intervention. So let's quickly move to issues of how do we educate on the opportunities and impact of the blue economy in a coastal state. How do we make that education? I think it's starting from what Professor Unjo has just said. How do we educate the coastal community of the opportunities inherent in their environments? Okay, I think maybe Engineer Kelvin, okay, you have not made interventions. So this is an opportunity. Do we have?
Okay, that's a good question. We as regulators, we need to play our part so that this community will be able to see the opportunity for them to dive into it. It's just like if nothing is really happening, then the opportunity will be far away from them to really say this is what they want. Now, for instance, we have over 28 states in Nigeria that is navigable by water. And we have 10,000 kilometers, but it's just I think it's 3.8 kilometers. That's, yes, 3,800 kilometers that are navigable. You can see we are losing over 6.2 kilometers. Meaning in those areas, nothing is really happening in those areas. They don't see the advantages. So how can they come forward to know what they want in those communities? So I think the regulators, in their own effort, need to make sure that at least 90% of our waterways are navigable out of the 10,000 kilometers that we know, so that other communities will be able to see the advantages and they will be able to speak out that they want that and they want this. Just picture it for a moment. If, for instance, we have, in this 28 state, we have river ports in this 28 states, and barges, large cargoes are passing through those channels. This community will be able to come forward and say they need this, they need to train their people on how to navigate, their girls also to go into maritime. But if the agency itself are not productive, you will be able to see a lot of people not coming forward to say this is what they want, this riverine community. They will be excluded from development and all of that. That's just my take on this.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. You just said it. The fact is, it's just like what Ocean Ambassador Foundation is doing. It's part of the roles of civil society to also go into such education process of enlightening our coastal dwellers of this whole matter, as the case may be, because ignorance of not knowing what they need to know will just make them to say, okay, I see this ship, they pass. Okay, how do they need to carry us along and all of that. They will want to venture into sea piracy activities and sort of that. So that's all I can say briefly.
Okay, but the question is, who is supposed to make this opportunity known to the people? Who are to take it to the people? That these are the opportunities. Like the area director also mentioned. Often, except for fisheries and agriculture that is visible, very visible, others seems to be hidden, hidden potentials. Who are going to take this up and tell the community and the investors to come in and take these opportunities.
Thank you, sir. You see, NIWA did a sensitization program in almost all the 36 states on life jackets and all of that against boat mishaps and all of that. I think NIWA, they have a role to play in that regard, if only they will be sincere to themselves. Because if they are not sincere, it will still boils back to affecting them. Because they will have clash with these coastal dwellers, as the case may be. Because recently, I think, how many thousands of life jackets were sent across? So if they can collaborate with our, even the NOA, Nigeria Orientation Agency here, if they can collaborate with them, put this in the local languages across these coastal communities, as the case may be, they will get to know better than any other institution can do from the private sector.
Barrister Fumi Valoransho.
I accept everything you have said, my dear brother. And I am only concentrating on Lagos and the Hingbeti. Who should be disseminating information and sensitizing? Who benefits from this? Lagosians. What is the role of the LASG, Lagos State Government? Is to sensitize us and open our eyes, and they have the tools for sensitizing us. What they do not have is the Ocean Foundation resources to see when we call our community together, join us, speak to them. But they have the, what's it called now? To bring together. Huh? Not the town hall, convening power. If there is an eye problem in Lagos, if there is a water problem in Lagos, there's a waterborne disease, who does the sensitization? It's government. What they then do is bring a knowledgeable person to tell us in schools, to tell us everywhere. And I will take that frontage where they sell fish, where they sell fish that they shouldn't sell, those small things. Yo-yo. They shouldn't. I was told that they're killing the fish thingy. But who comes to tell them? The KBC can call a meeting there. They will all come. Yaloja can call it. Then they will have a knowledgeable person to explain what this is all about. Civil societies can help. We all can help. But the convening part, who benefits? It is Lagos State people residents in Lagos State. Who has the convening power? Who can say, sit at home, don't use Carter Bridge, use this? It is Lagos State government. So in mobilizing Renaissance, whatever we've got to do, town hall, call it whatever name. Professor Dinodusa, it's still small. My mother died at 89, so you still have donkey years to go. Amen, I receive. And still going strong. Udu, sir, Udu. Call him. He's Lagos State indigenous. Speak to them in the language they will understand. He won't speak Wimbo like we are speaking. Go to the grassroots, speak to them, start to call. Anything they do from now to Christmas, let Renaissance come into it. It's going to get them employment. It's going to get them off the streets. It's going to get Marina working again. Ikeja, all of this, Lagos State, in collaboration with, let's call it even a maritime hub, so that they don't look at ocean ambassadors and things.
Well, Madam Williams, I think the name, maybe we'll call the motto will be Renaissance. We call it, the motto will be Renaissance. The Renaissance of England. That will be the motto. But Ocean Ambassador Foundation becomes an agency for us. That's what we are thinking. It becomes because you need to be organized. No matter how much you hate government will not speak to individuals. We need to be organized. It is when we are organized, and the foundation is already a platform which we can build on and use as a foundation to discuss, to bring all the opportunities on the table, and then look for the right language to government to say, this is what the people want. It's a charge, man. And I'm sure you are up to it. Nobody is going to, you are not going to do this alone. I'm sure, Prof, we can't leave her alone. We all support in our ways. Okay, yeah.
Please, before we go, you had the convening, Madam Laiton, you had the convening power to bring the traditional ruler in this state to this. Unfortunately, you let Baba go with the staff. That would have been the patron of a Renaissance. That we will all go and say, excuse me, sir, the opportunities are too much. We should not have poverty in Lagos again. Food sustenance in Lagos is solved. So we will go back to, that is your first port of call. He has convening power to call Mr. Governor to speak to him. I'm giving you pro bono, no charge.
No, she's not going to charge. She has assured me, free.
Brief.
Just 1 minute.
Just a brief. When you talk about the Ocean Foundation, Ocean Ambassadors Foundation being an agency, I want to add more weight to that. You see, the renaissance of Ehingbeti, the word Ehingbeti, I'll tell you, when you go to New Zealand, they have what they call Kaitiakitanga, is a synonym of Ehingbeti. You go to the Cook's Island, the Ocean Pacific Island of the, they have their own, they call it Mare Moana Act. So it is something that for me, if there will be a platform for the agency to project a bill to the House of Assembly to pass Ehingbeti as a law to protect the interest of the coastal dwellers, that would be awesome. Yeah. Because, in summary, I'll say this is how devastating it is. I call this the legal elements. Law is an acronym for land, air, or atmosphere and water. So when they came, when like the likes of Niwa, they come to these coastal dwellers, they come to their place, they take away their land. They occupy their airspace. They occupy their water. And when you take these things without including the indigenes, you are invariably making them to be lawless. So if you want to know who a lawless person is when the government takes the land, the atmosphere, the water that belongs to these people, they turn them into lawless people. Because rules, this is it, sir, rules that governs or protects the law can only be broken, but the law can only be polluted. And this is what they fail to understand. And that is why, if they still fail to understand, just as it resonated from the South-South, sea piracy, maritime issues, so it will resonate on the other side, just as kidnapping is, but that will not be our prayer. Thank you.
We need to do this fast so that we can round up. For the final one is create a forum for networking and exploitation of untapped opportunities. I think we need to get names of people who are here to do that, and then we build on what is being discussed here. So just 1 minute each. Professor Unjo, how do we do that quickly?
Yes.
How do we?
It's very simple. I think the Ocean Ambassadors have been doing something with schools already. What they need to do now is to get the Ministry of Education involved, especially the curriculum department and guidance and counseling units of these ministries, to ensure that there are deliberate, conscious programs that directly speak about the need for young people to embrace maritime studies, to be interested in environmental issues. Professor Jinodu said something about risk management, risk assessment, I wanted to say. This is also very important. When young people begin to sort of look at this simple cartoon, Mickey Mouse house, whatever, on DSTV that children watch. You know, they bring programs on engineering, on mechanical days, on that, on agriculture, and so on. We need our own television programs that will promote local and indigenous industries, which include these two. Thank you very much.
Comrade, just 1 minute. You have just 1 minute.
Sir, the fact is that I don't really know what to say on this context, but fact is what the Ocean Foundation or Ocean Ambassadors Foundation is doing, I think it is really resonating on that, on the effect of your question. So I don't know what to say in addition to it, but our brother here should be able to do that because they are the institutional framework. Thank you.
Okay. Well, he has passed the mic to you.
Yeah, thank you. So every year the nation, the world hosts this IMO, and you can see our participation, even the recent one. We go as far as primary schools for them to write essay competition to bring them into maritime as much. We want to catch them young. And Ocean Ambassador we have been a very, very passionate supporters of Ocean Ambassadors. We go all the way with them just to ensure that the impartation they are doing, they do it effectively and do it very well. So every year when you come to IMO, you see display of NEMASA for tertiary, MPA for secondary, and sometimes, we just mix it up, and NIWA primary. So we want to catch them young. We are passionate doing so by creating competition and all of that for them at this tender. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the legal mind in the house. I'm just thinking aloud. We will need, if all of these ones happen, we will need to make sure that we could, through working with the Ocean Ambassador, do a bill. Something, we cannot just be operating and they don't feel that kind of legal backing to say this is what we want to do.
Please look ahead of you. Just look straight, look straight. No, you are not looking. Please turn to the left. You're going to see something, solution to your problem. Light.
Okay, so it's done.
It's done.
It's done. Okay.
Clap for us.
So, because we have a very short time, I'm sure the audience felt the contributions from the panelists. Before we go, we'll take just 1 or 2 questions. So that it's not just those of us who are here who are talking. Please, just allow us. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. The panelists, thank you for the fruitful discussion we have had. I am Akombi Williams. I'm the director of International Ocean Institute based in Victoria Island. And I have been in partnership with the Ocean Ambassadors for some time. And my organization too has also been in the issue of community engagement. But I want to mine is not a question, but a comment or contribution. Now, one of the disconnect between policy and this community engagement thing is because most times we lack history. We do not tell the stories of how things are, how communities are before policies are implemented, and even before we execute some of the policies that we have. I would like to give an example. I'm from Abeokuta, but I'm a Lagosian by Nigerian standard. I met something in Lagos, and which is Lagos color. That is Mulwe. I remember I saw somebody in New York who painted his Danfo, the Lagos, New York. Development should go in line, or there should be a transition between the tradition or culture to modernization. Why do we change the color of Mulwe? why do we not transform the BRT system that we have into the color we have? All our children now, they don't know what is Lagos color. And one of the things that is our major problem is that majority of us are here. We are guilty. I'm also guilty. Many of our children did not grow up here. They grew up abroad. And now they are bringing these ideas back into our system. And that is why somebody will see Makoko as a slum. Somebody will see the common one we have talked about now. What's the name now? This development, Ilubiri. When I started work at Nigerian Institute of Physiography and Research, that is one of the centers we used to collect data from. Ilubiri, EJ, and all of them to Butero. Now, if I want to collect, and if I want to do any research, now I have to go as far as Magbalade and Orimedu and Folu and so on. And very soon, those places are going to be displaced because of the development that is going on there. So we need to actually start transforming, first of all, build on who we are. What is our history? And it is in people understanding our history. Even the policymakers themselves now, many of them, as I said, many of them schooled abroad. When they come back here and they want to make a policy, they don't really see. Some people dance here now, this Fanti festival. How many people know this, the history and the story of Fanti? And that's why somebody will just wake up and say, the people doing Fanti in Lagos, they are doing nonsense. But if you know the history and you're a policymaker, you will never make anything against it. There are many, even we have some traditional, due respect to them, many of them schooled abroad. And they came back here now, they said they don't respect their tradition. And now they are Christians and so on. So we need to, first of all, start building on who we are, building our history, and that history should be transforming into our policy so that we will respect it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I am a student, actually. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Esther Mutunrayo Olanrewaju. I am the Director of Research of Maritime Law Student Society, Faculty of Law, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. And I am also a Lagosian. I'm an indigenous of Lagos. And to be honest, I've learned a lot about Eyimgbeti Maritime Hub, and I'm really interested in it. So my question is, what opportunities exist for students like myself who would love to get involved in research and projects related to inland waterways and the blue economy? And how can we contribute to the development of the Eyimgbeti Maritime Hub? So that is my question. I would really love to know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you can take that on.
Yes, well, maritime law, we have, I don't know if at all it's maritime law you're taking. Is it maritime law? Okay, if it's a maritime law, as I speak to you, I think recently there was an employment. And we have just handful number of people who did maritime law. So you see, it's an opportunity for you. When you are done, we need more of you people to apply. Our headquarters is in Lokoja. That's where it is. So when you apply, you don't need to wait when there is an opening, like an advert, when there is an opening, because these days, sometime, they call some kind of recruitment replacement. Maybe the older ones are retiring and all of that, and they want to do some replacement recruitment. They don't need to publish all of that. So my candid advice to you is to just write your application. Maybe you can visit the Lagos area office. You can have a chat with the Marine Department head, HOD Marine Department, or you can have a chat with, luckily, maybe you were not paying attention. Our area manager was here. She gave a goodwill message. So you can come in, and she's so passionate with girls. She's an engineer herself. So I want to believe she's going to give you a listening ear to hear what you want to say. So you have your opportunity while she's still in office to visit us, and you can have a chat with her, and she will tell you ways to go about joining us.
Just one. Can you facilitate maybe an holiday thing, job or something like that?
Holiday?
An internship, something like that.
Yes, we as we speak, we have corpus with us. We have corpus opening for corpus. I think we have over 10 corpus now with us, and we have a few IT students. So we have openings. We are passionate in having you guys on board.
Okay, please, you can follow that up. Take his contacts, follow up, and then we are done. Okay. Question or contribution, ma? Contribution. Okay. After, no, wait. The gentleman, yes, sir. And then she will fit the last question from her. And last part.
Good day, everyone. I'm Rear Admiral Tunji Beckley, retired. I'm going to be looking at Engbeti community and maritime culture. I observed that if you don't have maritime culture, there's no way that community can strive when it comes to blue economy. So I want to beg that this foundation take particular interest in ensuring that swimming competition is carried out in that community, sailing competition is carried out in that community, and also maritime skills such as canoe making, boat making. By so doing, you are weakening the awareness of what the maritime environment is all about. Thank you.
Good afternoon once more. I just wanted to respond to her question, the students. I'd like to say that the gentleman from NIWA has spoken, but I want to say all of you cannot work in NIWA. You understand? Probably 20 apply, they take 3, they take 4, one thing, then what happens to the others? So that I just want to, as a trainer, you know, in this industry, I just want to tell that your wings or your tentacles should flap. Are you doing BSc law? Okay, fine. Then what you need to do, some of you should organize a mentorship program. Bring speakers to talk on various areas. Like, yeah, you've read law. For those of you who are interested in practicing, you follow it. There are a lot of people in the maritime that have chambers. Chief Jean Chazaneshere is there and all that. Then you can also find pleasure in doing other things in the maritime industry that involves law. For instance, I myself, I read in UNILAG too. After I did my master's in industrial labor relations, I was working, and then one thing led to the other. I did maritime law in UK, and then I find out that I am working today with the laws. If you want to talk about sailing vessel, there is a law. If you want to talk about whatever, education, maritime, it's too much. Even engineering, even other things. So you have so much, and there's coming out as a graduate. Then you now have small online courses, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. They are all there. And then institutions like ours can bring you people together, 6, 7 of you, 10, 20, 30, depending. Come to my school, do a mentorship talk, we chat, and then you begin to see the light. Thank you.
Well, because of time, I want to thank the panelists, Professor Unjo, thank you for your intervention. The comrade, thank you. Engineer, thank you. And the mama, the barrister, I want to thank you. Please, let's give them a round of applause. So at this stage, I will hand over the mic, and I want to thank myself too. Please clap.
Thank you very much, Professor Akintola, and the panelists as well. We do appreciate your contribution.